The world is marking the 2025 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, a powerful call echoing across communities, schools, and digital spaces. In Borno State, the Center for Advocacy, Transparency, and Accountability Initiative is urging government and duty bearers to step up protection for girls both offline and online. Senior reporter Jesse Tafida has details.
The 16 days of activism has become one of the loudest annual campaigns in the fight against gender-based violence. But this year, the message feels more urgent and more personal. For many families, the fear of losing a daughter is no longer a distant headline, but lived nightmare.
We call on the government to intensify efforts to protect education and learning facilities. As we mark the 16 days of activism, we reaffirm that violence against girls, whether online, at home, in community, or within learning spaces, is unacceptable.
The organization is calling on government agencies, security operatives, and all duty bearers to intensify efforts not only to secure schools, but to fast-track the safe release of abducted schoolgirls in line with international best practices.
As an organization, we condemn this attack in its totality. Our hearts and prayers are with families, relatives, and the government of Nigeria. Let us unite to protect children and women in school and end physical and digital violence and uphold the right and dignity of every woman and girl across Nigeria.
We will appeal that government should work hand in hand with the security agencies to ensure that, yes, even though the schools are closed, let us have more like a remote learning for these students who are going to be at home, so that they won't just be idle and then focus on doing the wrong things, which we are against totally.
There are undocumented cases where children have been taken away from places where they're supposed to be safe. These are children who should be learning, and now they're fighting for their lives. And like we said in the press release, their dreams are on hold.
For them, protecting girls is not just policy, it is a moral obligation. As the world lights up in orange for the annual campaign, advocates insist that real change depends on more than symbolism. It requires action, accountability, and a united front to ensure that no girl in any community or digital space is left unprotected. For a total elimination of gender-based violence, everyone has a role to play in curbing the menace so as to have a free and better society. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
Evelyn Hugwe is the Executive Director, Center for Redefining Alternative Civic Engagement for Africa. She joins us live to speak more on this year's event and the focus of advocates to ensure that gender-based violence is reduced drastically. Evelyn, talk to us about this year's theme and what the focus is to promote safety for people who are experiencing gender-based violence.
So typically, 16 Days of Activism is an annual event where globally it is recognized the need to renew commitment to ending gender-based violence. So for this year, the theme is very strategic. Technology is emerging. There's a new form of technology called artificial intelligence. And of course, it has a lot of advantages in terms of empowering young people and providing avenues for new opportunities. But then again, there are also the ills of technology, which is the digital gender-based violence, and also called tech-facilitated gender-based violence. It's a form of violence that is perpetrated through the use of technology. So for this year's 16 Days of Activism, it's important to highlight the need for gender justice and tech accountability. So the theme is timely because there's statistics that infers that 38% of women globally have experienced one form of tech-facilitated gender-based violence, which is sexual harassment online, deepfake, identity theft, revenge pornography, using of AI to manipulate women's pictures, putting out their nude pictures online, cyberbullying, and even femicide. If you look at the statistics and the trends of femicide that happened this year, most of the survivors were lured online through different social media platforms.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay, Evelyn, I want to ask you this. How can survivors of gender-based violence be better protected after their harrowing experiences? Because sometimes you still hear of cases of perpetrators not backing down despite warnings or even separation.
So for this year, particularly, I think it's very important to contextualize it, that survivors of online gender-based violence, because there's a focus, though is not enough, on the physical violence. The peculiarity of online gender-based violence as it affects survivors is also an issue that needs to be highlighted. First, what we need to look at is ensuring access to support services for persons or survivors of online gender-based violence. Women and girls whose pictures have been manipulated, who are experiencing psychosocial impact of issues of revenge porn. So making those services available to them and prioritizing their experiences as prioritizing their experiences in the service delivery ecosystem is also a very important issue. The cost of investigating cases of online gender-based violence should not be borne by the survivor. You know, the police, the cyber security center, they need to stand up. They need to be more active in providing these services and ensuring that these services are available. We'll move to the issue of regulatory framework. There is need to tighten up the regulatory framework to hold tech companies accountable beyond just punitive measures, but compensation for women and girls who